Good morning and welcome to your Daily Sparks. You know, some people, some Christians, see liberty as a synonym for license. There is a teaching out there that says, because I'm a Christian, I can live any way that I want. That teaching is not biblical. There is a standard. You see, Christian liberty does not mean going without the law. It means loving your brother. The scene in 1 Corinthians chapter 8 talks about people who are upset with one another over a question of liberty. Some thought that meat that had been offered to idols was tainted. They'd come from a pagan background. They thought it was tainted. They would not eat of that meat. But others realised that they're just idols. They don't amount to a hill of beans, really. It was okay for them to eat the meat that was offered to idols. So you had this situation there where Christians felt they had the liberty to eat that meat, but others were offended by them doing it. So seeing other Christians eating meat offended them so much that it caused some of them to actually fall back into sin. So the word for offend in verse 13 of 1 Corinthians there is the word scandalizo, from which we get the English word scandalize, which means to cause to stumble or fall. And Paul is saying that the situation is a stumbling block, which is the word proskoma, an obstacle in one's path that trips them up and causes them to fall. But then what did Paul say to the stronger Christians who didn't have the issues with that? He says this. He says, it's okay. Did he say, go ahead and just eat the meat? No, he said, listen, take heed lest by any means of exercising your liberty that it becomes a stumbling block to them who are weak. If meat makes my brother to be offended, I will eat no flesh while the world standeth, lest I make my brother offended. See, the challenge to all of us is not whether we have the liberty to do something in our Christian life, but the challenge to all of us is, do we have the love to prefer our brother and to give up our liberty so that our brother is blessed and not caused to stumble? So even though there's nothing whatsoever sinful about a particular practice, would we set it aside to bless our brother and cause them not to stumble? I think that's food for thought as you go into your day. Whatever you're doing, it's not about the liberty to do it, it's not about the license to do it, it's about the liberty to not only do it, but to give it up to prefer your brother. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow on Sparks.